Hello, I'm Joyce Bakare, your relationship watchman, and I'm so excited because today I have a very, 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 very special person with me at this talk today, and it's my one and only husband, PJT Bakare.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, sir. And so today we're going to be having conversation about love. You know, love is a hot topic, and so what makes it hotter is today is Valentine's Day. It's a special day, and you know, all the fuzz, all the buzz, all the gifts, all the thoughts are out there, and we have different categories of people who are processing today. We have the people processing it from the standpoint of single, and we have the people processing it from the standpoint of being single but being in meaningful relationships, and we have.
What about situationships?
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, we have people processing it from that standpoint. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have people processing it from the point of scars they got from past relationships. So we just want to talk to you today about love, how to be the right person and how to find the right relationship and how to keep the right relationship. PJT, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. To find, to be, and to keep the right relationship. I think it's powerful. I think that coming out of Valentine's Day, you know, although that's a very controversial theme, and everybody has what they think Valentine's was, the history of Valentine's, but let's just talk about love, and let's use it as an opportunity to be better people. So yes to the relationship watchman. I think you guys will be thoroughly blessed by what we're going to talk about.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So the first is would like to pick it from different angles, and the first thing I want to talk about is how do you be and how do you find and how do you keep the right relationship. Let's delve into the angle of the total man test.
Yeah.
So PJT and myself sometimes last year came up with some of the guides that you need to equip yourself in this area. We came up with what we call the total man test.
Yeah.
We came up with the thought about bringing down castles. Sometimes when you converse with young people and you hear the things in their head,
Castles in the sky.
that's the word, and you hear the kind of things they think and they feel about relationship. You're just like, this is just a castle and it's taking you nowhere. So we're going to delve into that part of relationship. We're going to talk about personal branding. We've found out that there are people who are sincerely single, but they've not found how to brand themselves. In fact, they are single, yet they are perceived to already be either in a relationship or either to be married. So we're going to have to talk to you today about the need for you to brand yourself.
Branding and profiling.
So when we talk about branding and profiling, it shouldn't just be focused on only product services. How about branding yourself? How about profiling yourself? And so we're going to be talking about that aspect. Then we're going to be talking about legitimate finding scenarios. There are scenarios, there are opportunities to be visible. Like I said earlier on, it's not just for product, it's not just for that business. You need to be visible. And then the last thing is how to be intimate with Jesus. Like, you know, we're pastors and we cannot live out Jesus. We cannot live out the God factor when it comes to relationship. It was first this idea. All this whole relationship manner, it was first this idea. So we're going to delve into that aspect. So let's talk about the total man test. Under the total man test, we have the first, which is spirituality. And I would just like you to share more on that.
Yeah, I think that spirituality is the most integral, the most native part of our conversation, because we are spirit beings, and if we are spirit beings, then we first must ask and answer spiritual questions. Like, are you born again? Are they born again? Do we even know who a real born again Christian is? You know, is it just because you can speak Christianese? What does it mean to really be born again? I think a lot of people have gone into relationships where they assumed and they thought this person was this and that just because they went to church, but nobody really taught them, but they never really paid attention to what it really means to be born again. So I think it's about time, you know, when it's about love and testing the total man, we need to ask ourselves questions about salvation. Salvation in Jesus Christ. We also need to now ask questions about growth, because everything that's born must grow.
Yes.
And we've said it over and over that marriage is not for boys, long-lasting relationships are not for boys or girls; they are for men and women. You know, so shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and they twine shall become one flesh. So we also have to ask the question: are we growing into men? You know, are we growing into women? If that's not clear, our commitment to Jesus Christ, our fellowship with other believers, you know, our spiritual exercises, all those things are the things that form the fabric of our growth. When those things are not in place, we don't even have a premise for connection and for and for, you know, for covenant, because it all starts with God. So you need to check those things spiritually. And I think you should say something about the emotional dimension of testing. Here we are spirit, soul, and body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what do you have to say about that?
It's important you find out your emotional state. It's important you refuse to deny your emotional state. Now we've discovered that some people look good, they look all right, but they are dysfunctional and they haven't done anything about it. And that's where
some of them are in denial of it.
And so that's where the emotional test comes from. You need to check yourself emotionally and be sure that you are sound. And if you discover you're suffering from any trauma of the past, it could be from rape, it could be from wrong or past hurts, you will need to do something about it. You need to get help. You need to read books. You need to make it a project in your life to get that aspect of your life sorted. And now remember, we said it's about being and about finding. When you're looking at someone you intend to go into relationship with, you need to check how stable that person is emotionally. Don't be blinded.
And
watch
mentally
out.
too.
Yes, and mentally too. Watch out for them. And if there are red flags from that aspect of the person's life, or from your own personal life, please don't deny it.
Don't deny
because the
it.
red flags will always be there. The red flag, either from you or from the supposed person, will always be there. And so when you discover something like that, you need to do something about it. And that's what the emotional test speaks about.
You need to really seek help, you know, and that not being in denial is the biggest thing there. I think that medically too, we must ask questions about blood group, about genotype, about all kinds of things, adverse medical conditions, things that may be in the blood, and all of those. I think they're a very important part, because, you know, as relationship progresses and gets into marriage, then biology becomes very
important.
Very, very important, because of the raising of the next generation. And we know that that's part of what God caused marriage to be for procreation, for fruitfulness, and for, you know, a family culture, a family kingdom culture that increases from generation to generation. So medical checks are very, very important. A lot of people are talking about love now, but they don't even have certain details about their personal medical conditions, personal medical state.
Yes, sir. They will have gone far into relationship before they start asking the question. So please, every grown adult, please know your blood group.
Exactly.
Know your genotype. And it's not like you cannot trust God for a miracle. But if you know you have peculiar genotypes that requires you to that requires you to strictly stick to a particular genotype, then before that love even goes far, it's good to find out. Don't wait for things to become so deep before you find out. The moment somebody is showing interest and the person is looking at it, looking like it, find a nice way to just say, oh, what's your genotype? And if it's possible, you could do a rerun again, because we've had situations where people just say, oh no, I think I'm AA, and they've gone so far into relationship, they've gotten into premarital counseling stage, and boom, we suddenly discover that both couples to be are of a sensitive genotype.
Oh wow!
And so at they are incompatible. So at an early stage,
recipe for heartbreak.
Ouch. So at an early stage, you will need to find out your medical compatibility.
Let's also
be open.
Be open about it. With the people that matter in your life. And you know, we can't talk about medical without talking about physical. There has to be the physical aspect, you know, and the physical touches financial as well, because your living conditions, your your financial, not just your financial status, because a lot of people run away from relationships and marriage because they're hiding behind the fact that, oh, I don't have all the money. It's not really about status, it's about potential. What's your prospect? What's your potential? They usually say it's better to marry a guy with vision than a guy with television. If you marry a guy with vision, you and that guy one day. If you marry a guy with vision, and the guy with television will one day use his television to watch you, and the guy with vision, really do the things that are in the vision and all of that. So it's about potential. It's about plans. It's about pursuits. It's about things that you've mapped out, things that are possible, things that are realistic, things that are smart. There has to be that conversation. Survival skills, and survival skills is very important. Look at your culture, look at your environment, look at your city, look at have you adjusted in? Can you bring in somebody else into your life? And you're not just waiting until you get married. Even while you're courting, somebody else has come into your life.
Yes.
And in some way you're making accommodation for them. That's part of the challenges with Valentine's. There's so much pressure from gifts. You have to buy gifts. You have to do this. You have to do that. And sometimes people get to actually break the bank just to provide the gifts. And sometimes they finish providing the gifts and they are upset. They are angry. Because the relationship has a lot of gifts, but it doesn't have communication. Communication is the we call it the oxygen of love. It doesn't have all this compatibility test. So you've given gifts to somebody, you've made investments in somebody, and you had not even checked that your investment is valid. So you're preparing for something out there in the future that you may not even be able to control. I think that the total man test is really, really powerful.
It's really powerful. It's really powerful. And when you spoke about the physical test, which is under the total man test, and you began to raise those key points, one of the things I would like to also chip in there is, because you spoke about the person may not be everything right now, but you need to watch out for vision. And one of the
tips, not have television, but he has vision.
So one of the things that can help you to sense or to know a man of vision is watch out for his ability to talk and do. Not just talk. Some people are full of talks, but zero works. Watch out for her ability to talk and do, however little her ability or his ability to take those steps in the direction of what they are saying. Because the challenges we've had in time past or almost recently is that we have a lot of people who are full of big talks,
big talk online,
but zero implementation.
Big looks.
Yes, but zero implementation. So you need to look out for the ability of that person to be able to say what they want to do and at least take steps. Even if they do it afraid, let them do it afraid. But you need to pay attention to the ability of that person to actually do what he or she has said they will do.
That's powerful. Let's address castles. People have built all kinds of castles in the sky. And Valentine's is one of those seasons where you see a lot of castles. Some of them, you see them online. This is
I use it
castles.
to add more bricks to your castles.
You're floating, flying, cloudy castles. What really is the issue with castles in the sky?
So the
because some people don't know the difference between faith and fantasy.
So I discovered that building castles is one of the cheapest thing you can do in our time, especially when you're not guided. You know why? All you need to build a castle is your mind. And you have everything. You have all the resources rushing in from social media,
from Hollywood,
your discussion with friends, what you saw out there, So it's easy to gather the materials, resources. Yes, it takes to build a castle. In the sky. So these castles we're talking about, right? They are actually in your mind. And if you've ever conversed with an average lady, you discover that, oh my goodness, some people's castles are as high as the sky. And so talking about castles,
who generally has more castles in the sky?
Let's not touch it. It used to be ladies, but sir, we are discovering now that men have castles.
Wow. I've always known they did, but I'm asking who has more castles, so we know where to take our bulldozers.
Type it in the comment section.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you all think?
I think
guys or girls?
It's now guys.
Really? Well, if you think it's guys, then you have to prove it in the comment section, because Because I see more ladies who are more ready for wedding than marriage. But generally, I see guys, when they're thinking about another person coming to their lives, they're thinking about how to provide, how much money they have or do not have. I see more men prepared for marriage, especially in the aspect of provision. But you can take the argument to the comment section.
So when we're talking about the castles in the skies, we're actually talking about things that they feel the right person should look like or be. And so the reason why I said men is, let's just break this table. Let's not quote it. So when the reason why I said men is because we are increasingly having men who are building castles around what their supposed wife should look like. I'm talking about the physical looks now. Okay,
physical looks.
Yes. So, or maybe like you said, we could categorize that under boys, but we are beginning to have guys.
What about the girls that say they don't want to marry pastor?
No. Is
that not coming from castles?
No, that one is not castles.
Because they've told us that they don't want to serve God.
No,
that's the meaning.
No, check every house.
They don't want to start their lives.
Check every house of worship
and denial. I don't even know how you married me.
Okay.
Yeah, so castles, baby, castles.
Talking about
castles.
Ladies don't want it to marry pastor, but when you look at it, they're still the most spiritually dedicated. When you check houses of worship, it's more ladies.
No, they want to have pastors. They just don't want to marry them.
Okay.
Castles, guys, tell us what you think, though.
All right, so let's please tell us what you think in the comment section below. But I remembered when we first had this discussion last year. You mentioned how that under castles, we must, whether ladies, whether men, we must watch out for essential and non-essential. So let's just delve into how we can help people have the right perspective.
Y'all heard what she said? Essentials and non-essentials in love.
In love, yes.
Essentials and non. I think this is where all the castles rise and fall.
Yes.
Essentials and table broken.
So an average lady will tell you, I want a tall guy, handsome, has a car, has a house, has a good job, six packs, and all of that. But although all of those things are okay, you must learn your essentials and your non-essentials, because we've had situations where people meet the right spouse, but they miss him or her because of the castles. So you've prayed night and day, your mom, your dad has joined you in praying, your pastors have decreed, you received it, but here comes the guy, here comes the woman, and you still miss it, you still can't see it. Why? Because of the castles you built in your mind. And that's why it's important that you paid attention to what exactly are the essentials. You can think everybody wants good. I mean,
everybody wants good. Everybody wants the best.
Yes. None of us want something ugly. Obviously.
Even the ugly don't want something.
So, but you will need to learn the essential and the non-essential. I think you
I think the backdrop of essentials and non-essentials is purpose. A revelation of your purpose is what determines what is essential for you and not essential for you. And so when they ask you, what do you want in a man? All your answers should come from purpose. If it's coming from purpose, that where it's coming from, that sense of purpose will filter it and help you know exactly. So I think that a lot of us need to make new lists in this season of love and divide everything we've ever desired into what is essential on the backdrop of purpose and the things that are not essential on the backdrop of purpose. And I think it changes orientation.
It does.
Certain things we didn't used to see start to emerge, certain things we didn't consider, and somebody under the sound of my voice may just be getting a notification from the Lord that there's somebody they threw away.
Hallelujah.
That may just be the one because they exalted a non-essential. And see, thoughts, imaginations, things that are incompatible, things that are not basic. You see, essential and non-essential are really coming from the difference between things that we can become and things that won't change.
Yeah.
Because I see that a lot of people in relationship, they mistake the things that will change for the things that will not change. You see a guy who doesn't love the Lord, who doesn't serve the Lord, he doesn't share the same level of faith as yourself, at least the basics, and you say, oh no, he loves me enough, I'll change him.
Because he has all the...
Because he's cool, he's nice, he's wonderful, he makes you happy, he knows when to call you, he knows your favorite colors, and so you feel, oh, you'll be able to deal with that. And you have to know there are certain things that you get in a spouse that will be with you forever.
Yeah.
They will really not change. In fact, you'll be going around them and playing around them and learning to live with those things. And so that's why this issue of essentials and non-essentials are very important. We need to have a back-end conversation.
We need to, I just want to add.
No, the back-end conversation is about what were the essentials and the non-essentials when you were looking to marry me. But that back end.
Okay, let's go on. So I just want to add to what he said, as in addition to the essential. Usually when a guy meets me about a girl or a lady meets me about a guy, I always ask you two questions. First, is he God-fearing? Let me bring it home. Does he fear God? Does she fear God? See, you know it when a guy truly fears God. Yeah. And you know it when a lady fears God. And so for you as a Christian person, you cannot joke with that point. You must look out. This world is evil. Even the Bible speaks about the heart of man being desperately wicked. And so thank God for the saving knowledge of Jesus. Thank God for salvation. But I tell you, even if he claims to be a Christian, he claims to be a church, you need to watch out. Does he really fear God? Try and put this at the backdrop of your mind and watch him. Watch him during conversation. Watch how he approaches. You will know it when a man fears God, and you know it when a woman fears God. The second thing that must be on your essential list is somebody that will give you peace. Wow. You need somebody that will give you peace.
I hope you're a peacemaker yourself, though.
Yeah, obviously. Some of you are just out for, the razzmatazz. But at the end of the day, you cannot jeopardize the peace of your heart. And so if you find somebody that doesn't necessarily meet all the non-essential lists or items, but gives you peace and fears the Lord, slow down.
I think a home is only as good as it is peaceful. Because a home is like a nursery bed. It's for growing things and growing people. Children will be grown like plants in that house. Ideas will be grown in that house. All kinds of things. Peace is the platform for growth. And so you must she's teaching us what the essentials are. Peace, the fear of the Lord, are the essentials.
We can go on and on. I think we need to do another video.
Yeah, we'll be back.
On just centering on essential and non-essential.
Because I've also in counseling seen some people who don't fear the Lord, but they are looking for security in people who fear the Lord. They don't fear the Lord. They are not peaceful, but they know that they would rather not live with somebody who's also not peaceful.
They will drain you.
They're just looking for somebody to manipulate, somebody to abuse. So now peaceful people are looking for peaceful people to fall in love with.
God, that big.
Yeah. The guys in the club are looking for girls in church.
Lord of Jesus.
Yeah, the good boys love the bad girls. The bad girls.
The good girls love the bad guys.
It's a mess. So we're going to do something else for you guys.
Yeah.
That will center deep in. But we don't have a lot of time.
We don't.
But you said something about legitimate finding scenarios. I think that's the hottest part of this conversation. Let's hit it.
Again, I need to sit up.
Yes.
Okay, so there's this thing a lot of us grew up knowing, and it's about how some of either our parents, grandparents, or great-grandparents found their spouses. Now, if you backdate to your, let's not say grandparents, maybe your grandparents found themselves, but in those days we had situations or scenarios where people were helped to find themselves. But now we've grown up and everybody wants to find for themselves, which is beautiful. However, I would always tell people that in the day and time we live in, there are many legitimate finding scenarios. Wow. There'll be the opportunity for some, they may be opportune to find themselves
by themselves.
But in other cases, we've had scenarios where people were recommended and they were allowed. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We're not talking about, I'm recommended B, I don't have a choice, you just go with it. Yeah. No. I'm talking about a scenario where people were made to connect and they worked it out and it was their choice. That is a legitimate finding scenario. And so if you are not equipped with it, you just feel, no, once it's not me who finds him, or once it's not her who meets me, I'm not going to accept that. No. I usually would tell people that you are one friend away from your spouse. Yeah. You are one mutual friend away from your spouse. Yeah. Your spouse is not a total stranger. If you're a grown-up person, your spouse has been born. And so you'll be shocked that your spouse is connected to your colleague,
or connected to a friend,
or connected to a
family
friend,
member,
or connected to a
connected
church.
to a local church that you're connected with.
Yes. So
don't marry a stranger, guys.
Don't marry a stranger. I don't care if he's from Australia. I don't care if he's a white guy. When you meet the guy, there must be someone somehow who who knows this person. Don't marry a ghost. Because
that's so good.
Yeah, because in those days, before people married, they will go and research the person's background. But now, we are all claiming modernization. You can just marry somebody, you don't even know the person to the person's root. It's dangerous. This world is becoming sophisticated, and we must not be ignorant as Christians. So when you meet a spouse, if the person is somebody you're just meeting, do your investigation before you say I do.
Yeah.
We've had situations of where people
do investigation before you say
you do. We've had scenarios where people just go ahead, get married to a person only to discover that person has been married before, has children, maybe probably your age.
Wow.
What happened to the area of investigation?
What a shock.
Yes, what a shocking shock. So what happens today? So I'm saying that although we have liberty, there are some of these things our parents knew and practiced that we must inherit. They never went ahead with any marriage if they didn't know about the family.
Yes.
They never did.
Yeah.
They never did. And so when we talk about legitimate finding scenario, it can be social media. But when you find the person on social media, don't forget to make the person go through all of these tests that we have given you, the total man test. We can go on and on. Don't forget to go through that. It can be church, it can be workplace, it can be through a friend, it can be based on recommendation. But guys, when you are at a stage where you need love, you must open your heart. Don't box God. You'll be shocked how some people have found their spouse and they are doing well. Some people have found themselves, but they're not doing well. But we've had people connect to people and we're left to make their decision and they are doing fantastic. So when it comes to love, please open up your heart. Don't shut your heart. Don't say no, I can't do this. Or some people even tell you I can't marry from another tribe. Well, that's discussion from another. Open your mind, open your heart when it comes to the matter of love.
That's powerful. You also said something about being intimate with Jesus. I think that it's impossible for two people to generally love themselves, genuinely beg your pardon, love themselves, except that they have and are cultivating a relationship with God. But you said something about branding.
Yes.
And profiling.
First
of all.
Yes. So when it comes to personal branding and profiling, I feel it's been made easy in the world we live in because almost everybody has a smartphone and it's on social media. So when it comes to personal branding, you must be intentional about what you are perceived as. Now, I'm not saying the fake version of yourself, the real you. But you must. I'm talking to Christian ladies here. Other ladies know how to brand themselves, but sometimes it looks like Christian ladies do not understand how exactly to brand themselves, or Christian brothers do underestimate the power of branding. There could be a gem on your inside, but if you refuse to brand it, you can be perceived as otherwise. And so when it comes to personal branding, you must be intentional about it. Your social skill, your outlook, your dressing, your online profile. Some of you just need to go back to your Instagram, you just need to go back to your Facebook, you need to go back to your YouTube account and reprofile yourself in the light of purpose and in the light of your belief.
Take away things that are not consistent with purpose and start to bring in comments, captions and content that are consistent with the real you, the you that you want somebody else to desire and get married to.
In fact, we've even had scenarios where employers these days just go online, you submit your application and they just pick your name and then they just want to see who you are out there. So it's important you brand yourself. You must not be perceived wrongly. So let's talk about relationship with God. I think it's very important in this conversation. So sir, you were talking about the importance of having an intimate relationship with God as we wrap up.
First of all, man, you've been calling me Sasa. That's not what you call me at home.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think
guys, this is for the girl. This is for the ground. It's not true. But it's fine. We're talking about intimate relationships with God. Yeah, because somebody's going to go home thinking this is what you call me at home.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
But it's fine.
It's your pastor, so I'm like,
yeah, it's fine. I just needed to put that disclaimer.
Okay,
there.
let's talk, baby. Let's talk.
Now you're talking. So I believe that it's impossible for two people to really love themselves except that they have genuine connections with the Lord. I think that God is love. So all of the power of love comes from God. And we're unable to really love another person until we love the Lord. There's a relationship between the love we have for God and the love we have for others, the love we have for others, and then the love we have for God. They must stay together. So serving the Lord, worshiping the Lord, serving his people, being connected, being an integral part of everything that the love of God and the love for God means is a major check when it comes to being marriageable
and
finding and keeping. There has to be that posture of love in your heart. And when I say love, you must know the difference between love and lust. Because a lot of things that are lost, this world has branded it as love. And a lot of things that are actually love, this world wants us to feel that it is not love. So we really need to ask ourselves the love question and pay attention to the love walk and really know Jesus as love. A lot of people know Jesus as some big guy with a long stick somewhere that's ready to hit you when you do something wrong. Some people know God as just this big guy ready to judge you. If you haven't practiced the love of Jesus, you have not received the love of Jesus yourself, you will be unable to give love to another person in the name of the Lord. So I think that service to God, service to humanity, on the back, not philanthropy, on the backdrop of a revelation of the love of God is foundational, because that's where we get the strength to forgive in relationship. That's where we get the strength to trust somebody else that you're not with round the clock, but you have the power to trust, because the love is patient, love is kind. All the fruits of the Spirit are in love. And I think that the best relationships are relationships that are surrounded and garrisoned by fruits of the Spirit. So I think that it's powerful. I don't know. What do you think?
I've had an amazing time. And I'm so sure every one of you has been impacted positively with this discussion. Like we promised, we'll give you more content in the area of relationship. Until next time, I'm Joyce Bakare, your relationship watchman, and
I am Pastor JT Bakare, the prophetic pastor.
Bye, guys.
Bye.